Kia ora, New Zealand! Welcome to Sweet Chain Live. We are on episode 96, hurtling towards the end of the year, hurtling towards the century mark. Episode 100 will be coming next year. As you can see, I'm all alone this week. A little sad panda. Matt is unfortunately under the weather. He seems to have injured himself. The Masters division is catching up to him very quickly. So I wish him the best. I hope that he heals quick and fast. You get me this evening, so I'll be going through the hot scores. We have some updated events coming up. We have some updated power rankings after the fling on the weekend. And we have two special guests tonight. As you know, the first major of the NZDG Tour coming up next year is the Garden City Open down in Christchurch. We have former TD / chair of the Christchurch Club, Andrew Falconer, with us, and also one of the major sponsors, NZDSS, Leon Botha, is joining the show. So I'll have the two of them join me a little bit later on. Thanks everyone out there who's watching already. As always, we will get underway with hot scores. Starting down south, we'll start with Invercargill, Queen's Park, and Steve. Please put your last name, Steve. Shoots -7 at Queen's Park for the hot round this week. But really, the hot round would have to go to Ethan Stout. So leading up to Nationals this year, Ethan Stout shoots a blistering 12 under par at the Golf Course Championship course. Nice shooting, Ethan. Over in Dunedin, Chingford Park, Amazio Jutel comes in at 7 under par. And at Brockville, Jack Maffey gets it done with a 6 under par. Over to the Queenstown Gardens, Jay Puke and Mark Riwai. Morgan, can you tell me how you pronounce his last name? Shoot 11 under in the Gardens. Nice shooting there. Good to see Jay on the leaderboard. Over the Crown Range, Ely Point, Ollie Webb gets it done, 3 under par on the 9-hole course. And over at Lismore with the lockout, Ollie Webb gets it done with a -12 at Lismore. Nice shooting, Ollie. Up to the Garden City, speaking of, Jelly Park, Jono Scott shoots the 11 down at Jelly. Nice shooting, Jono. Out to Brooker Ave, we have Callie Thompson with a -5. And right next door, Zach Taylor gets it done with an 8 under par, 1 off the course record. Nice shooting, Zach. To round out the Garden City, Warren Park, Callie Thompson shoots an 11 under par on the new 18 holes. Let's jump up to the North Island here in Wellington. Out in the hills, Barrenpore, Simon Fogarty, and Chris Houston shoot 6 under par this week. And on the foreshore, Hikoi Reserve, Andy Davies shoots an 8 under par. I believe 1 off the course record as well. Up in Harcourt Park, it was quieter this week. Dan Jackson takes it out with a +155. Up to the mighty Manawatu, Linkletter, Joel Simpson, once again, top of the list, 7 under par. Up in Topor, Spa Park, none other than the U.S. Scott Stokely shoots the hot round on Spa Park Black, -4. Nice shooting, Scott. I thought you'd pop up here. And over in Taranaki, Maryland's Brian Rollins shoots the -4. Over in Hastings, Flaxmere, good to see the league has started once again. Manuel Rangi shoots the hot round of -7. And up in the Big Smoke, Henderson has Richard Watterson with a -2. And Rosedale back in action. Nicholas Golder shoots -6 at the league. Nice shooting, everyone in our heart runs. Without further ado, without Matt with a little chit chat, let's invite our guests in. So we have Chairman of the Christchurch Club, Andrew Falconer, and President, I guess, of NZDSS, Leon Botha. Welcome, gentlemen.
I'm the president now. I don't know how Run's going to feel about me being the president, but anyway.
Now, tell me, we talked a bit before the show. Can you fill folks in? Garden City's coming up. Andrew, you were a TD. You're not a TD. Who's actually running this?
Oh, it's a bit of a Mickey Mouse show, to be honest. No, obviously I set up as a TD when we first set it up, but the full intention was to have Avery Jenkins as the TD. And once that was all set up, he's now officially been put on the PDGA website as TD for the Garden City Open.
And so what is
ex-TD now? So there you go.
And is there a Kiwi? Is there an assistant TD? Like, what are we hoping Avery's going to bring to the table for Garden City for the first major?
Well, obviously experience to start with. I mean, obviously I've never done a tournament as a TD before, and we thought, well, what a great way to get Avery involved in it, and that's part of the reason why we've gone with the B tier, because this allows him to also play as well as BTD. You know that as an A tier you can't play as well. So we've managed to do that, and it will help. So Zach Taylor is going to be the assistant TD.
Awesome.
And the idea behind all of this is to be able to give Zach some more experience with that, and so hopefully in future tournaments that we may hold, Zach can become TD and I can back him up then.
Nice. And Leon, you're not throwing your hand in the ring when it comes to running. You're just going to sponsor the event. Will you be playing?
No, I've actually. Well, DSS has been quite involved with the support of the event, basically connecting Christchurch Disc Golf with our contacts on our side, which has kind of helped things. Well, let's just say it's made things a lot easier for the club to get certain things happening. So we've kind of done that, and obviously being able to bring over Avery to BTD, DSS, as you know, is carrying the can on all of that stuff. So we just wanted to throw our hat in the ring. It's my home club, and we definitely want to make a splash. And Avery as TD, I think, is very important because obviously, Andrew and I talk a lot. We're neighbours in our respective businesses, and we're looking at the future of disc golf in Christchurch, and we've got big plans. So one of the Avery's sort of parting gifts to us is going to be pulling the entire event apart and telling us what was wrong with it. How can we measure up to be an international standard that we are capable of hosting these kinds of events in the future. So, like I say, we've got big plans for Christchurch Disc Golf, and who better to get involved than a guy who's been around the world in events and has had many accomplishments of his own within the game. So, I think we've made the right decision. Having Discmania on board as a whole. It's for me, my role in all of this on the weekend event is to take care of all of our VIPs. I am having some businessmen down there, and we'll be basically walking them around during the tournament, showing them what disc golf is and where their money would go should they decide in the future to get behind disc golfing events, and show them the fact that it's growing. I mean, it's absolutely exponential how much the sport is growing, especially here in Christchurch.
Yeah, I was going to say, and smoozing the VIPs is going to be fun, but how about the players? So if this is their first major, I know that Christchurch is, rumor has it, the largest club in the country at the moment. What can players expect out of this major in this first kind of Christchurch Disc Golf Club event?
Andrew, you want to answer that, and I'll tell them what we bring in. Yeah, well, I think for us, we're obviously, to start off with, we're running two tournaments simultaneously. We have two 18-hole courses, both par 61s at this stage. We have an A course and a B course, and obviously for people who will be starting and new to the whole tournament scene, possibly, we'll be starting off on a B course, which is slightly smaller, shorter in distance. I think just under 2,000 meters as compared to the other one, which is about 2,400. And slightly less technical in a way. So hopefully the idea is that we're getting them involved in something that's, the vibe of being in a tournament, but still not as hard as, quite often right now we go to tournaments and you get an old fogey like me trying to throw as far as, Levi and all these guys, and, I can throw half the distance. Well, similar to guys that are starting off. In saying that, there's some guys that starting off are throwing twice as far as me already. And, but it's just that whole thing of trying to get people in the vibe of tournament mode, having two different courses, one more set up for it's called pros, and one set up more for the amateurs.
Yep. And then what we've organized with Discmania is to actually prepare players for the tournament. So in the week leading up to the tournament, they will not simply be offering clinics as most pros do when they come around here, but they'll be helping the guys and giving them tips on how to actually attack a tournament such as a major like the Garden City Open. And, we've also, like I say, because we can, these clinics and all will be free. There's no cost involved to anybody who wants to come along. We will obviously have a registration, so we can just put numbers into groups and that kind of thing. But we are not going to have anybody paying to get a clinic from any of the pros that are coming over. As you know, it's more than just guys. We've also got Nate Perkins that's pitching up, and we're having a nice word in his ear. So there's a lot that's going to happen. But again, Discmania is truly supporting the event. And one of those things, apart from just giving a basic typical clinic, is, hey guys, so you're going into this major. Is it your first time? Okay, this is what you can expect. This is what your mindset should be. This is what your game plan should be. And, as Andrew says, you're out on the course, you're trying to throw as far as the next player. We all know that's the worst thing to be doing. You should be playing your own game, playing your own tactic, playing your own thing. So that's the kind of thing that Discmania is going to bring to the table for the Garden City Open.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, and we had, you guys have had the luxury of an extra American pro come in already before the Garden City Open, and Drew Gibson for Bros for Change. And Scott Stokely, who just came through Wellington, is going to be in Brooker this weekend, I believe. Yep. What do you guys feel in Christchurch? I can speak for us in Wellington, but what do these American pros coming over and these clinics, what do you feel they're adding to the Christchurch club and the game in New Zealand?
I don't know. I think most of it is more just, it's the opportunity to meet a professional. I think that's probably why a lot of the guys go to these clinics, is to get the opportunity to meet an idol, a hero, somebody that they look up to or respect. And I think because we are so isolated, I think if they just sat on the grass and talked to you for an hour, that would be good enough. It's good to get that kind of exposure. Having people like Drew Gibson play here, play in a tournament, it does kind of give you the insight into where we are in our game. So how good are we really? Are we just big fish in a small pond, or is it, the other way around? And it's good to go up against these guys so we can, it's a measuring stick. And I think that's the most important thing that these guys can bring to New Zealand disc golf, is give us that. Give us that measuring stick of how good are we really. I don't know, Andrew, you might have something different there, mate.
No, I think for me, I happened to go along to Drew Gibson's clinic, and it was, I guess in a way, it was good just to see that, one, they are just another human being. While they can play a hang of a lot better than, and just the way they play, but they've been playing in that tournament mode. And like with Drew Gibson, I think one of the things I appreciated with him, at least anyway, when I was there, was he didn't care how many questions people had. And he started off with, I don't care what kind of question it is, whether you think it's a stupid question or not, just ask it. I'll stop and I'll answer it. And that was one good thing that I saw about it, just that he was willing to stop halfway through a sentence and answer somebody's question. And, that was kind of good. But just that thing of seeing, wow, here's a guy that plays top and around the world. He's one of the best players in the world, and just watching him throw and stuff. And it's just like, wow, that's amazing. So it's I guess just getting that wow factor, feeling like, here's someone that's way up there, and where it is we're at and what we can do. So, and obviously I'm not talking about myself, I'm talking about the guys that are coming up, through the ranks and stuff, and what it is that as New Zealand we have to offer for the world.
Well, and that's, I was going to say, speaking of those coming up, I happen to have Mr. Discmania, contract coming through in Leon, and I know, Andrew, that your son is competing, is one of the 1 in 4.
Yeah, he's got no chance.
I'm not asking, no spoilers.
He's got no chance.
When does that finish? Just as a question for our viewers, because I know some people are still following, like me.
Garden City Open.
Garden City Open?
Yes, sir. They will be spending time with Avery in particular, because, as you know, Avery is the team manager. He's also the coach, believe it or not. And they will be spending some serious quality time together before the tournament. because obviously, as you know, it's Discmania is big on who you are as a person. So that's what they will be doing. We, as a co-sponsor, have no say in what goes from here on out with regards to who gets chosen or anything like that, because obviously it's Discmania that's got the carrot that they are all chasing. And just to add to sort of give you the where we are at the moment, I was talking to Avery today, as a matter of fact, and we had a very long conversation on the phone about many things, and obviously the 1 in 4 is there, and it's it was amazing to hear how the office staff at Discmania are keeping tabs. They've got their favorites, they're following them on Instagram, and they're following them on Facebook, and this is the one thing. Matt brought it up last week, and in fact I think you did as well, Brady. What's going on with the 1 in 4 we don't hear. And I got hold of the guys after that, and I said, this is an indictment on you. This is not for me to build your brand. This is for you. If people are asking that kind of question, this is part of the deal. You guys need to make yourselves known. You need to build your own brand. So I think that's kicking into high gear now. And as we saw from their results at the Fling, taking first place, Conor McKinstry for the Fling overall, Ben Wheelake and Ashton taking joint 4th place. They tied in 4th. And then Sebastian winning MA1 as a junior. So they are putting their best foot forward now. I just hope that they all peak at the right time for the Garden City Open. That's important, because believe it or not, you can peak too soon and have nothing left in the tank for a tournament. That course I've seen from Zach it's not easy, and you're going to have to keep your head about you. And so right now it's anyone's game. There's no clear favorite. There's no one that's sort of like, you're not in the running, because all of these boys really know how to huck a disc, and they're all decent guys. They've all contributed to the sport. So I'm glad I have nothing to do with who gets selected, if anybody gets selected, because that's the other thing at the end of the day. They have goals to achieve. But again, Avery's he's a hell of a good dude, and he's looking at things, and I don't know what his approach is going to be with them. He's keeping me in the dark, because obviously it's that time of the year. Big contracts are being signed right now with Discmania. They're busy with all of those things. So it's a hectic time for them there. And this is just going to be a follow-on after they've completed all of their negotiations with current professional players. So it's going to kind of be the full stop at the end of all these negotiations at the end of the Garden City Open.
And Andrew, how is it being a dad watching your son go through this? I know you come from like a competitive football background. What's it like seeing him go through and be 1 in 4 and seeing the trick shots and seeing all of this?
Mate, it's hard. Because there's some ways I sit here and I go, oh, you just need to do this. You just need to do this. And I'm super competitive when it comes to playing, and I hate losing. I've learned to be a bit more of a graceful loser. But then looking at Sebastian, for example, he never used to be a big competitor. He was like, oh yeah, if I win, that's great, and if I don't, that's not the big. But now I'm seeing a change in him. I'm seeing that going, no, I want to win, and it's been cool to see that part of the 1 in 10. That brought that on a little bit, I think, and his passion and desire for the game. I mean, he's basically gone, if I get it, it is what it is. If I don't get it, it is what it is. I'm not worried about it. I love the game. I want to. This is my passion right now, and this is what I want to do, and that's what I want to back him up as. That's how I got into the sport, because of him, and I'm here to back him up, and so that's where I'm at and where I'm standing behind him. Proud as, of course.
Well, I'd hope so. And actually, it's a great question. I know a lot of our viewers out there are dads, and I know that you two are very lucky that you both enjoy the sport and you both get to play with your sons in this sport. So is there any advice you have for other fathers out there or parents out there when it comes to getting their kids either into the sport or to just encouraging them along the way?
Try not to correct them on everything, even if you are right. I've found that really hard, because like, if you just do this, or if you just think like that, or if you and it's really hard to hold back. And while I may not be a professional disc golfer, I can see certain aspects. It's like any game. I can see what mistakes you can make, what thought process you can go down, and all that. But the biggest thing is just encourage them and everything. Doesn't matter whether they, you got to be careful. You don't want to be, that was a real crap shot, but man, it was an awesome crap shot. That's not what it is.
Yeah, two different styles of parenting, that I can tell you.
What the heck, Richard?
But it's getting behind them, and if you can, join them. So I used to struggle because I thought, man, this really sucks playing with somebody that plays 3 times better than me. It's like, far out. So the odd occasion when I beat him, it's like, yes, and I tell him too. I make sure he knows.
Yeah,
but it's just backing him up, and being there, and just trying it out. Going in somebody else's shoes, a kilometer, it teaches you a lot, and it just, I don't know, it's good for our relationship as well, and we go to tournaments and we get a 5-hour drive back, and it's full debrief on disc golf, and it's awesome. It's a connection, and that's what you got to have. So that's really cool.
No, I have to agree. I think the number one thing is to first of all actually go and play disc golf with them. I think it's one of the single biggest things. We got into disc golf simply because, as we all know, it's no secret, I've got 5 boys. And having something to do with them as a father is difficult. Time is limited. I've got more than 2 companies that we own and stuff like that. And for us, trying to get that time to spend with our boys is so critical, regardless of their age. But if they're living at home, it's critical that dads spend time. And this has always been something very close to my heart, was father-son relationships, father-daughter relationships. And, we started playing disc golf basically because it was something for me to do with the boys, and all of them together, which was really, really great. Even when the twins were born, we were pushing them around in chairs, and at 2 years of age, so they could walk, they were throwing discs. And Andrew touched on it there, the relationship side of things, because you're spending time together, the relationship just organically grows, and you're there with them when they are disappointed. You're there with them when they do well and they're proud of themselves, and that's kind of great. And then the travel side, you've got all the family, you've got all the kids, and what was really good for me was watching my older boys teach the younger ones, how do you get in your sleeping bag, how do you stay warm in -6 degrees in Twizel, that kind of nonsense. So the vibe between the boys, and I'm very proud of the fact, my kids are tight, and I've got a great relationship with my boys. And Lorraine only started playing because she never saw us. And then she still went and took a national title for herself in the interim, just to stick it up my nose, I'm sure. But it's a family thing. It's very close to I really am. And everybody that I see that comes down to Jelly Park, we really encourage the dads, bring your kids. The shop is the same story. We meet these guys, well, what is the sport and all the rest of it? And it's a case of it's something for you to do with your kids. And I must tell you, 90% of our new customers at that shop are new business, new people to the game. And, they go, well, what's so great about the sport? And you kind of show them around, and then they look at me, and I have a chat with them, and you find out they've got a son or a daughter. And I say, well, do you get to spend much time with them? Because this is a great way to do it. And it's cheap and it's free when you go out there. And I think that's a big draw card. But Andrew, your approach with Sebastian is way too soft. I literally make fun of Philip when he shanks a shot. As a matter of fact, I call the shank while he's on the tee pad trying to drive. So, but it's made him mentally stronger, because I think that was one of the biggest things. I've distracted that child enough on the golf course, on the tee pad. So his mental game is there. I just wish he would actually, do what Simon's just realized in his life. Practice actually means you get somewhere, which I found hysterical, by the way, listening to Simon actually explain that. Spending half an hour every night actually improved his putting. I was like, how do you what? Excuse me. That was funny.
I think one of the cool things down here that I've seen in Christchurch, I don't know if it happens throughout the rest of New Zealand, but there's heaps of guys, not just guys, girls too, out there that have come out with their families. And I just see Dylan wrote there, he brings his daughter along, and his daughter's like, I don't know, 12 years old or something. 12 months old, whatever. But there's people out there with the young kids, and they're out there as families and stuff, and that's so cool to see. You don't see that in another sport. Once you get into a team sport or something like that, the families are out. They're either on the sideline clapping or doing something else, or so it's really cool. This is something that a whole family can get involved in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's the number one thing for me is family. I think if you get anything out of disc golf, it's family. You couldn't ask for a better thing. Play regularly together, and then you go away and you play in a competition somewhere. It's going away with the kids. That's what builds memories. That's how I grew up. Dad taking us places, and that's the stuff that I remember. Is the time that I spent with my father. So I think Andrew's right. There's no other sport you can do. Again, why I want so many people down at Hagley Park. There's a reason. I mean, Andrew, you remember we said to Roberts, we don't want the South Island champs unless we can get Hagley Park. We wanted to make sure. That's why it took so long to announce it, because we wanted that space. There's like 45,000 cars that go past Hagley Park just in the morning, and that's exactly where our signage is going to be. So come on to Hagley Park and come and watch and see. And there's nothing like watching a disc fly. I mean, you see it once, you'll be hooked.
Yeah, I was going to say, being both family men, is there anything special about the Garden City Open that is catering to families or like younger players getting into it?
Yeah, absolutely. So, sorry, Andrew, I'm just jumping in there. We're so obviously, like I said, we are going to encourage the public to come down, bring the children down, to make sure that they stay at the event. We will have, we've got, his name just fell right out of my head. Paul Wadsworth bringing his coffee shop down. Yeah, he'll be. So there will be refreshments there. There will be food there. I don't know if we spoke about a jumping castle, because apparently I'm not allowed to jump on it, so I'm not really interested in having one. So yeah, and Andrew, I'm not paying for one because I can't go on it. So no, find your own money. So that's the kind of thing. And then again, like I said, we've got anywhere, I think, and what did we decide on, 25 or 30 support staff on the days?
On the day, we'd like to get about between 20 and 30 people out there if we can. I mean, obviously you've got two courses. We'd like to get people out there because there is public obviously there's public, but there's public walkways where people can be walking down and not have an absolute clue about what's going on. Yeah. We want to have people out there that can say, hey, look, just watch out for this, and this is what's happening. And so, but hopefully to engage people as well as they're walking through. People will always ask, even if you're out on any course, they're like, oh, what are you doing? It's like, oh, we're playing disc golf. What's that? And amazing how, look, here's just try one, throw it in the basket, and if they get it in, they're like, wow, that's easy. And I'm going, yeah, I could have done that the first time.
But yeah, Brady, you will remember the first time you saw somebody huck a disc for miles. It's impressive. You don't, in your mind, they're throwing frisbees, but to see that disc fly and you're watching it go from left to right, that's impressive. And that's why we're trying to get as many people as we can on the day. I think we maxed it at 30, I think it was. But that they can engage with people and explain the game to them and sort of, show them what's going on and who's who in the zoo. And so we definitely are gearing this to education. It's a showcase of disc golf. I've always said to the Christchurch committee, you guys are hosting a disc golf event, and then I'm pushing for a showcase. I want something that people are going to walk past, drive past, go, what's going on there? If they haven't heard the radio ads, if they haven't seen the newspapers, what's going on there? And they must come across. I mean, how many gazebos have you bought so far, Andrew?
18 so far.
There we go. Every second hole's got a gazebo on it. So if it's raining or if the sun is shining and it's too hot, you've got shade. The expense that's been spent on this thing is huge. It's massive. And I don't know how the club managed to pull it off, to be fair. If you hear of any bank robberies, we know nothing. Somebody got held up with a disc golf disc.
I never knew how much it costs to actually run a tournament until we've done this one. It's just like, my
Andrew,
goodness.
You know as well as I do.
And the amount of work.
Yeah.
The amount of work. I've always known the amount of work that goes into a tournament. I've seen it. I've seen it behind the scenes. I've seen people spend countless hours. But man, I tell you what. I mean, we've got a whole team that's working on this, and we've spent ages and ages, and we've still got heaps of work to do. But I mean, it's just there's a lot. I mean, yeah. So my hat goes off to you guys that run these, especially these big tournaments. I mean, it's a lot of hard work.
But shout out to Woody, RPM. Woody came on board. Man alive, that guy. One phone call, and it was like, okay, give me a second. And gotta love RPM. I mean, they really put their money where their mouth is. You know, they are supporting this. They are one of our major sponsors as well. And a big shout out to RPM for that. And then again, also people like Morrison Mitsubishi out in Sockburn. Lance Morrison, I've been buying cars for him for 10 plus years. He's community focused. You know, went to Lance, said, hey, this is what's happening. And, you know, he's giving the pros cars to use while they're here, you know, for the full period that they are here. So, you know, it's we've got some guys that are really throwing their weight behind this, and we can't thank them enough. Andrew, what other major sponsors have you? I mean, your company's throwing in money. My company's throwing in money.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few we've got so far, and I mean, because we're a charitable organisation, we've relied also on pub charities and all that kind of stuff too. So we've gotten quite a bit of money from that. But I mean, it takes a lot of money to run these things, and so we're still looking for sponsors. I mean, if anybody wants to sponsor, you know, yell out. We're looking for sponsors still. We're looking for people to volunteer to help out. You know, when you've got at this moment 30 players playing, it's kind of hard to find volunteers to do stuff because they're all playing. You know, so but yeah, so we're after all those kind of things, and you know, like I said, there's still a lot of work to go ahead. We're 50 days out exactly today from this tournament. So
and those volunteers will be looked after, by the way. It's not like you got to bring your own shit and that. We will look after them. There's no so don't think you're coming there and you're just going to get kicked in the nuts when the job is over. That's not the case. We're definitely looking after the help, and it's going to be a good experience, I think. And you know, Andrew said it's hard work, but when you've got 30 people on the day, it's actually not that much work. It's quite easy. Yeah. You know, that was breaking a sweat for 5 hours. It's actually quite easy. So, and come and be a part of it, man. I mean, this is, from what I've seen and from what I've been allowed to see by the club, this is going to be impressive. I mean, seriously, this is probably going to be the biggest thing that's ever happened in New Zealand disc golf. And I'm so stoked to be a part of it. And Andrew's to blame for that. He's pulled out all the stops. The man is no, seriously, dude.
It's not Andrew. It's not Andrew. It's
your team.
It's the club. It's the club, and it's the team. So it's
and not taking away anything from the club. But I don't see their stressed faces every day. I see yours.
I'm getting grayer by the day. I'll tell you that much.
I see your stressed face. I don't see theirs. Yeah. Mind you, Tom looked a bit stressed the other day. He came around and he was looking a bit ragged.
Yeah. Zach chimed in with a couple more sponsors for you guys as well. OTB, UDisc, Whale Sacks, Grip 6, Generation Homes as well. So, it sounds like you guys are going to have quite the event coming.
I'm stoked. I truly think anybody who comes anywhere near this event will be impressed. I think it'll really be one for the books. And like I said, we are trying to show the internationals, hey, we might be on the other side of the world, but we can compete against you.
Yep.
So you're still looking for sponsors, still looking for volunteers?
Yeah,
absolutely. We'll take sponsors up to the day before.
Yeah, it's more for the players. Remember, this is a player experience. This is so, I don't think it's so much about covering bulls. It's about getting the exposure for your company will be massive. This is what we're pushing for, which is why I want so much of the public there. You are going to get major coverage. Lance, I know, has already picked up deals because we've mentioned that he's involved with this. People respect that. They support companies that support the community, man. It's New Zealanders are wired that way. So get in there and get involved. Get some exposure for your company. I mean, I can't see a better medium to do that. And even as a sponsor, bring your family down. Come and enjoy the event. It's not something that's over there that you're not a part of. It's just your money. Come on down and see what it's all about and just experience this with us.
And how many spots are left? Are there still registration open or is it closed?
Registration, we've extended. We were going to close registration at the end of this month. We've extended it to the 15th of January, just because we realized that it's Christmas time, New Year's, and a lot of stuff happens between now and then. We thought, no, we'll leave it open so we've only got 20 spots left.
Okay.
To reach the 250, which is our max. We'd love to fill them up if we can. But yeah, that's where we're at right now. We've got, I think, 59 MPOs currently signed up.
Wow.
So
that's
yeah,
pretty cool.
so that's where we're at. Yeah.
Oh, and cheers to Run at Disc Golf, by the way.
Yeah, sponsors coming out of the woodwork. Christchurch is looking after their own, so it's good to see that.
Yeah, if you want to get out of the Auckland and the windy Wellington, you know where to come and live.
Hey, I know that I'm signed up for it. I'm looking forward to coming down and hopefully playing well at it. I'm really excited. Gentlemen, it's been great to have you on the show. It sounds like you guys have your hands full with what's shaping up to be a great event. So I wish you guys all the best. If you still want to register, feel free to sign up. They can come into the new shop, right, in Christchurch, or it's all available, on Facebook if they want to register?
Yep.
Yes.
You can write it on
a disc golf scene as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I'm sure I will see you on the course shortly, and all the best in the prep for the event.
Thanks, Brady.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers, Zach.
Oh, my goodness. I can't believe it. Zach Taylor being assistant TD, Avery Jenkins coming over internationally to bring his chutzpah. I'm excited. The Garden City Open playing in Hagley Park. People have been playing growing up there. I saw a generation must have been Morgan. I know he's a Christchurch local. It's going to be a great event. I'm really interested to see what they pull off. It's two courses. It's big course, small course, an A-B pool. So yeah, it'll be interesting. Speaking of interesting, we had a little bit of play over the weekend. Let's see if I can bring up the events from the weekend. So we had the fling. Let's see. Yeah, like they said, Conor McKinstry takes it out with only 7 under par. So it must have been a pretty difficult down there. He held off Jaden Watkinson there at -5 with Jasper Vandermeer finishing out the top 3. Haley Flintoff with a fairly comfortable lead of 12 to win the FPO over Stephanie Stridham and Megan Merrick, tied with Echo Lee. Cam Hubbard takes out the MPO. Sebastian Falconer takes out the MA1 with a 6-stroke lead. So yeah, it's really good to see all of that. And yeah, there's little Andrew tucking down there. 4 juniors is really good to see. I know that Dave typically runs a pretty good course. He's been in the game for a while. He's also a brand new dad. So, it must have been a lot to juggle. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it down. I'm looking forward to catching the fling again and going down to the Garden City. It might have to, unfortunately, be the Garden City Open the next time you'll see me down there. I just want to shout out all the viewers who talked about like their families. So, like Matthew Rants, like people like playing it and spending time with their sons and families. Philip Botha chiming in, talking about like playing it with his dad, sticking it to his dad as well. There's lots of it going around. It is a family sport. I got into it because of my friends. I've had family days where legitimately my whole family will go out. Me, my sister, my brother, and my dad will play, and my mom will just keep score. And that's how it starts. So it's, like fun to see like Loren and the Botha family taking it and winning a national championship in front of her husband. I'm sure Leon will never hear the end of that one. Last but not least, we have some upcoming events as well. We have the Fling has already come and gone. We have the Egg Monster, which is next. I'll be co-TDing that. That's up in Taranaki on the 7th and 8th of January. Roxborough Open is down south. Morgan's running that, Generation Disc Golf. Wellington's premier event, premier fun event, I should say, is Wellington Centurion, happening on Monday, January 23rd, which is Wellington Anniversary Day. We'll be doing cohorts again. There's lots of membership information coming up. So if you're a Greater Wellington member, keep an eye out for that. The newsletter should be releasing our new perks and what is coming next year, and all of that will be ready for Centurion. Heislander is coming up, of course, in January. We also have Mataripi up in Rotorua, which is also coming at the end of January. And then, of course, we have major season, February, March with South Island Champs, the New Zealand Nationals, and North Island Championships. After the Fling, which just happened, of course, Conor McKinstry with the big move and shake jumps into the top 5. I know that Leon has nothing to do with it, but I'd have to say that Conor is kind of striking gold and getting hot at the right time of year. So he beats out all of his competitors to go not wire to wire. He had a slow first round, but he does come out with the win. So he jumps up into the top 5. Simon Feasy also jumps into 4th. A couple people slipping, and Ethan Stout finally jumps into the top 20 with jumping up 2 spots this week. I think that's going to do it for me. It's been great to have you on. It's been, I'm super excited for the Garden City Open. It was an absolute pleasure to have Andrew and Leon on. It's honestly 2 great dads, you know what I mean? And leading their sons and being examples and that kind of stuff, and just supporting and spending quality time. I think too often we get bogged down and stressed out, and sometimes it's good to just go and relax and, spend some time with family and friends. So wherever you're playing disc golf, get some birdies, take care, and we'll see you on the course soon.